Michael Davis, a 45-year-old African-American man, stands approximately 6'1" tall, with a balanced and athletic physique. Michael's face possesses a strong character, accentuated by deep, intelligent eyes that always exude determination. He usually keeps his short hair neatly trimmed, lightly peppered with gray strands that hint at the passage of time. As the president of a large corporation, Michael manages a chain of prestigious golf courses stretching across the United States, attracting thousands of enthusiasts daily. Despite his wealth and influence, Michael leads a humble and modest lifestyle. He typically dresses in simple yet elegant suits, without unnecessary extravagance. For Michael, success isn't measured merely by wealth or fame, but also by the core values he instills and maintains within his business: respect, equality, and inclusivity. Recently, during an end-of-quarter meeting, Michael sat silently studying the financial report handed to him by his assistant, Anna, a young, energetic woman with slender glasses. Michael's eyes were thoughtful, his brows slightly furrowed. "Anna, can you elaborate on this?" Michael asked softly, his voice calm yet tinged with concern. Anna quickly skimmed through the pages, responding cautiously. "Yes, there's a significant decline in sales at most of our major golf courses, especially in California and Florida, despite our ongoing promotional campaigns." Michael leaned back in his chair, gently rubbing his temples as he murmured, "This is unusual. The economy is stable, and golf is becoming increasingly popular. So why are our sales declining?" Anna hesitated briefly, then added, "I've reviewed customer feedback online, and many guests are complaining about poor service attitudes and feeling uncomfortable at our golf courses." Michael sighed deeply, a hint of sadness crossing his face. "I'm concerned this issue goes deeper than just service quality. Maybe I need to experience it firsthand to understand precisely what's happening." "You mean?" Anna asked, surprised. "I will visit the courses personally," Michael affirmed resolutely. "That's the only way I can pinpoint exactly where the problem lies." Anna nodded, expressing complete trust in her leader. "Understood. I'll arrange everything you need." Michael stood up and approached the large window in his office, gazing down at the lush, green golf course below. His mind was heavy with worry, but his determination burned brighter than ever. Determined to uncover the real reason behind the mysterious drop in sales, Michael decided to disguise himself as an amateur golfer. It was a beautiful Sunday morning, with gentle sunshine and a clear blue sky without a single cloud. He dressed simply, a plain white polo shirt with no branded logos, comfortable light khaki pants, and an ordinary baseball cap. Michael stepped onto one of his renowned golf courses in California, a place typically bustling with enthusiastic golfers waiting their turn to play. As he entered the reception area, Michael initially felt pleased looking around at the spacious, luxurious setting with its polished marble floors, elegant chandeliers, and tasteful furnishings, providing a sophisticated yet comfortable atmosphere. He noticed several groups excitedly waiting to play, creating an energetic and vibrant environment. However, his initial satisfaction quickly turned to discomfort as he felt scrutinizing eyes upon him. Robert Stevens, the receptionist, a tall, slender, middle-aged man with salt-and-pepper hair, cold eyes, and a clearly arrogant demeanor, examined Michael suspiciously and condescendingly from head to toe. Robert raised his eyebrows slightly, his voice cold and dismissive. "Do you have a reservation? Our course primarily serves members and regular guests." Michael maintained his composure, responding calmly with a gentle smile. "I'd like to play a round today. I haven't booked in advance, but I believe there's still availability?" Robert smirked mockingly, glancing toward his colleague before turning back to Michael. "Do you even know how much the fee is here? Perhaps the public golf course nearby would be more suitable for your budget." Still patient and polite, Michael replied calmly, "Cost isn't an issue. I just need your help with the check-in procedure." Robert exchanged a sarcastic glance with his young colleague and intentionally whispered loudly enough for Michael to overhear. "Another one here just to take pictures for social media. Do they think this place is an amusement park or something?" Michael clenched his fists slightly, feeling anger rising inside him, but maintained his composure. Suddenly Jake, the younger colleague standing nearby, approached Michael with an apologetic expression. "Are you sure you want to play? Our fees here are quite high. Would you like to check the pricing first before deciding?" Michael offered a gentle smile in return, saying confidently, "I'm certain about my choice." Jake glanced uneasily at Robert, then nodded and turned back to Michael hesitantly. "All right, please pay up front." Michael calmly handed over his credit card, though deep down he felt disappointment mixed with anger. The discrimination he was experiencing was clearer than ever, reinforcing his resolve to ensure this behavior would not continue any longer. After completing the registration process, Michael approached the equipment rental counter. Tony, a young employee with slicked-back hair and a partly unbuttoned uniform shirt, was engrossed in his phone, scrolling endlessly through Instagram and Tinder, completely unaware of Michael standing right in front of him. Michael politely spoke up. "Excuse me, I'd like to rent a set of golf clubs." Without looking up, Tony responded mechanically, "Hold on." "Sure." Several seconds passed before Tony reluctantly glanced up, giving Michael a dismissive once-over. He then lazily stepped away from the counter, returning shortly afterward with a set of old neglected golf clubs, dirty heads, worn-out grips peeling away, clearly poorly maintained. Michael frowned slightly at the condition of the clubs and asked politely, "Excuse me, but is this the best set of clubs available?" Tony impatiently looked up from his phone, briefly glancing toward Robert, who was standing nearby with a mocking smile. Robert loudly remarked for Michael to overhear, "Tony, don't waste your time with these types of people. Just give them anything so they can hurry up and leave." Michael felt the blatant contempt in Robert's comment, but maintained his composure, replying firmly, "I can wait. Please find me a better set of clubs." Tony muttered under his breath in irritation, reluctantly walking away again, his eyes still glued to his phone screen. Meanwhile, Michael stepped into the players' lounge to wait. The lounge was beautifully decorated, with luxurious furniture, warm golden lighting, and a pleasant fragrance from fresh flower arrangements. Michael initially felt pleased until a female server arrived, casually placing a tray containing only a glass of water and several slices of stale, cold, hardened bread in front of him. Glancing around, Michael noticed other guests comfortably enjoying fresh coffee, juices, fine wines, and an array of delightful pastries. Politely, Michael asked the server, "May I order some coffee or pastries as well?" The server gave him a visibly annoyed look and coldly replied, "Sir, those services are reserved for premium members or regular guests. If you wish for additional items, you will need to pay extra." Michael maintained a calm exterior, but internally he felt immense disappointment, anger, and a strong sense of injustice at the discriminatory treatment happening at his own establishment. He took a deep breath, silently resolving that it was time for significant, fundamental changes. Michael stepped onto the practice range with the set of rented golf clubs, his heart heavy with disappointment and frustration from his earlier experiences. Nevertheless, the fresh green grass and gentle warmth of the morning sun reminded him of his purpose: to observe, understand, and initiate change. As Michael approached the practice area, Kevin, a young, muscular instructor with cold, skeptical eyes, turned and gave Michael a scrutinizing look. Have you ever played golf before?" Kevin asked dismissively, crossing his arms with apparent disdain. "I don't think this course is suitable for beginners." Michael calmly replied with a polite smile, "I've played a few times, but it's been a while. I'd appreciate your guidance with some basics." Kevin reluctantly nodded, providing minimal, inattentive instruction. Michael intentionally fumbled a few swings, pretending clumsiness, causing nearby white golfers to sneer and whisper mockingly, "Look at that guy. He must have walked into the wrong place. This place is getting lax. Seems like anyone can just come in these days." Kevin openly joined in their laughter, clearly enjoying Michael's apparent failure. Suddenly, Michael adjusted his stance and performed an exceptional, powerful swing. The golf ball soared gracefully through the air, landing precisely at the target. The laughter abruptly ceased, replaced by stunned and embarrassed silence. Kevin froze in disbelief, his face reddened in embarrassment. Michael turned calmly toward him, speaking firmly yet courteously. "I suppose that swing wasn't too bad, right? Perhaps you wouldn't mind showing me some advanced techniques now?" Kevin lowered his head awkwardly, mumbling quietly, "Yes, I'm sorry for misjudging you earlier." Michael moved aside, signaling Linda, a young female attendant standing at a distance. Unlike her enthusiastic colleagues busily assisting other golfers with bright smiles and professional demeanor, Linda stood isolated, absorbed in her phone screen, occasionally giggling softly, completely disconnected from her surroundings. Michael politely called her attention. "Excuse me, could you help me with some towels and arranging these clubs?" Linda raised her eyes irritably from her phone, clearly displeased at being disturbed. She glanced dismissively at Michael and replied curtly, "Can't you see I'm busy? If you're in a hurry, you should tip up front." Michael frowned slightly, maintaining composure but firm in tone. "Are you saying I have to pay extra just to get basic assistance?" Linda folded her arms defiantly, a brazen smile appearing on her face as she bluntly remarked, "You heard me clearly. Here, if you've got money, I'll gladly provide anything. Even myself isn't off limits. But no money, no service. Don't waste my time." Michael stood stunned, completely shocked by Linda's blatant disrespect and audacity. Anger, shame, and profound disappointment surged through him. A bitter realization struck him. The deeply rooted discrimination and corrupt culture had infiltrated his own establishment, and it was imperative he took decisive, immediate action. After the upsetting experience at the golf course, Michael returned with a heavy heart. Sitting quietly in his office, he gazed through the large glass window toward the lush green golf course, but his mind remained haunted by the distressing events of the previous day. The mocking glances, offensive words, and discriminatory attitudes echoed vividly in his thoughts. The next morning, Michael convened an urgent meeting at the corporate office. The meeting room was solemn, filled with senior staff, including Robert, Laura, and Kevin. As Michael walked in, tension immediately filled the air. Robert's face turned pale. Kevin lowered his eyes, avoiding direct contact, and Laura trembled, staring down at the table. They were horrified to realize the man they had disrespected yesterday was none other than the CEO of their company. Standing at the head of the meeting table, Michael's cold, firm voice broke the tense silence. "I believe everyone here knows exactly why I've called this emergency meeting today. What I experienced yesterday at our very own golf course is absolutely unacceptable. I'm profoundly disappointed to see that a culture of discrimination and disrespect towards customers exists within our organization." Robert hastily stood up, his face drained of color, stammering nervously, "Mr. Chairman, I sincerely apologize. I didn't realize it was you. Had I known, I would have never behaved that way." Michael interrupted Robert sharply. "So you're saying if it weren't me, you'd continue treating customers with that same disrespect? This issue isn't about me or anyone specific. It's about the discrimination that cannot and will not be tolerated here." Michael's stern gaze then turned toward Laura and Kevin. "And what about the two of you? Your unprofessional behavior and disdainful attitudes toward customers are absolutely unacceptable within this company. I'm thoroughly disappointed in all of you." Laura remained silent, head bowed deeply. Kevin fumbled, his face flushed with shame, barely managing to whisper, "We're truly sorry, Mr. Chairman." Michael shook his head lightly, his voice lower but resolute. "This isn't about apologies, it's about real change. Effective immediately, you're all suspended until further notice to reflect deeply upon your actions and attitudes." Turning toward Julia Carter, a sharp-eyed, intelligent, energetic young woman in her early 30s, Michael clearly recalled how Julia had tried to intervene yesterday, but was stopped by Robert. "Julia, as of today, you'll replace Robert as manager of the golf course," Michael declared firmly. Julia stood up confidently, responding immediately with strength in her voice. "I'm honored by your trust, sir. I promise to do everything I can to ensure that every customer feels respected and satisfied when visiting us." Michael smiled approvingly, determination clear in his eyes. "I trust you, Julia. This is our chance to restore faith and credibility in our organization." The meeting room fell into silence. Robert, Laura, and Kevin couldn't lift their eyes, consumed by embarrassment and regret. Michael exited the room determinedly, knowing he had made the right decision to steer the company back to its core values of equality and respect. 1 month later, Michael returned to the golf course as the CEO of the corporation. That day, the sky was clear. The gentle golden sunlight spread beautifully over the lush green lawn. The atmosphere was fresh and pleasant, completely different from the oppressive feeling he had experienced a month ago. Michael walked slowly through the various areas, his eyes filled with satisfaction as he saw employees warmly and enthusiastically greeting every customer with genuine, friendly, and attentive care. Their smiles were sincere, without a trace of pretense. Everyone interacted respectfully and equally, precisely reflecting the cultural standards Michael had always championed. Julia Carter quickly approached him with a radiant smile. "Hello, Mr. Chairman. It's wonderful to have you back visiting us. How do you find everything today?" Michael smiled warmly, replying with genuine satisfaction. "Very good, Julia. Everything seems exactly as I had hoped." Julia confidently responded, "Thank you, sir. We always keep in mind that respect and equality are fundamental values that must never be compromised in our organization." Just then, several employees walked by, greeting Michael sincerely. "Hello, Mr. Chairman. It's so nice to see you here today." Michael nodded cheerfully, feeling a distinct sense of relief and peace. Suddenly, his eyes caught sight of a group standing quietly in the distance. It was Linda, Robert, and Kevin, who stood silently, their eyes filled with embarrassment and remorse upon seeing him. Julia noticed Michael's gaze and explained softly, "Sir, they returned today to apologize and express their desire to work here again. Over the past month, they've fully recognized their mistakes." Michael looked directly into their eyes, speaking sternly but compassionately. "Your mistakes not only hurt me personally, but also severely damaged the honor and core values of this corporation." Robert bowed his head sincerely, speaking softly but clearly. "Mr. Chairman, I'm truly regretful and ashamed. I've thought deeply over the past month, and I now understand that my behavior was unacceptable. I only ask that you grant us one final chance." Linda and Kevin quickly nodded in agreement. Linda added, her voice trembling with genuine emotion, "Sir, I deeply regret my actions. I want you to know that I have truly changed, and I promise such behavior will never occur again." Michael paused briefly, then responded firmly, "I acknowledge your remorse, but the wounds inflicted cannot be immediately erased. I have decided to give you one final opportunity, but you must restart from lower positions to prove your sincerity and genuine change." All three were deeply moved, bowing their heads and speaking together. "Thank you so much, sir. We promise not to disappoint your trust again." Michael nodded, feeling lighter at heart. He turned back to Julia, offering a sincere smile. "I trust you'll manage this well, Julia. Please help them truly change." Julia confidently replied, "Yes, sir. I promise to do my very best." Michael left the golf course filled with happiness and relief, deeply confident in the meaningful and lasting cultural transformation he had worked tirelessly to build within his organization.